Hello everyone, how's it going? Remember to like, sub, and share. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs. So recently, this was a new story that came out today. This was from Mischief because the original tweet was deleted. It came out that special editions or physical editions of Starfield would not include physical disc, and since then, Bethesda has deleted the tweet. So on an update for that, Starfield has been confirmed to have physical versions. However, if you get the collector's edition, it will only include a digital code, which is very upsetting because you're paying over $100 for these game collector editions and you're not even getting the physical game in the package. It just reminds me a lot of Mass Effect Andromeda. If you remember this was a $200 collector's edition that came with a replica of the Nomad, this kind of cheap RC car, and you can see there the game was not included. But since then, we've seen more and more special editions not include the physical game. Now, if you're going the extra mile to buy these collector's editions, which include which usually cost over $100, sometimes even $200, $300, you should get the game. I feel like that's the whole point. Yeah, I still buy physical editions of the games. Yes, day one I usually buy the digital version because I want to play the game as soon as I can. I used to buy games at my local Best Buy because they have a way better reward system than GameStop. But since my Best Buy closed down, I refuse to go to GameStop because they just keep hounding me with those special edition crap additional fees. But yeah, now I get the digital version, and then over time, once the GameFly version comes out, that's much cheaper, and you could buy a physical version. That's when I buy a physical version, like usually for $20. That's how I got Scarlet Nexus. It's how I got other games. Like I just buy them from GameFly after a couple of weeks where they sell them for dirt cheap. GameFly, by the way, fantastic with their used games. This is a little tip, do not buy used games from GameStop. This is a bit of a side story, but I bought a copy of Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition to play with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and the game didn't work. And when I asked GameStop for a refund, they refused to give me a refund. But when I went to GameFly, every game I bought from GameFly worked. And I asked them about the refund policy, and they literally said, if the game does not work, you can send it back and we'll give you a refund within reason, within a couple of weeks of the game's purchase. Same thing for eBay. eBay is wonderful too. Like one time I bought Manhunt 2, it didn't work. I got a refund, and the person I bought from actually took back the game. It was from a company, and they actually sent me a brand new one. No questions asked. They said, we're sorry about this. This one's on the house. We hope we can retain you as a customer. And guess what? I bought more games from them because they were so nice to me. But regardless, that was a bit of a tangent, but the reason I'm saying this is because physical game releases are still very much a thing. People still love having physical copies of a game because digital stores closed down. Like Sony and Microsoft are a little more stable. They have a much better service per se. There's still the PlayStation Vita, the PlayStation 3 store fiasco where they were shutting down stores and digital games from those stores were going to be only available through the digital store, and if you didn't get them, that was it. Nintendo is more notorious for closing down their stores and you lose access to their entire catalog of games. That's why I refuse to buy digital games from Nintendo. I still go for full physical releases because of their very obtuse digital library systems that simply don't work, or they shut them down way too early. Either way, people are much more aware that digital games are not as, cemented as physical releases, because there's also the idea that you can buy digital games that do not work on later platforms. Xbox, for example, even though they have all these games on their Xbox Game Pass, so that some of those games do not work, such as the Dragon Age franchise no longer works on Xbox Series consoles because of some sort of update. So physical editions are much more prominent in how they work and how they can be properly stored, and you can back up those games if you're tech savvy. Either way, it's just really annoying that they're doing this shit because, like I said, you spend extra money to get this giant edition and you don't even get a physical version of the game, which is just obtusely annoying. It's just a cost-cutting measure. They're like, let's not spend, I don't even know how much these discs cost, so I'm just going to be generous, maybe, let's say, $5 for a disc. I probably even cheaper than that, but either way, like, out of everything, why do we not just get the physical version of the game? If a person is paying this much, they should at least get the physical game, because that's what they're buying it for. Like, yeah, they're getting all this extra stuff, but I doubt anyone is buying the Starfield Collector's Edition just to get this watch or this steel book or this carrying case. From what I've seen for Collector's Editions, including myself, I used to buy these Collector's Editions. They usually just take up space and you toss them in the corner once you've, like, done your unboxing video, or you're like, okay, I've seen this cool item, and now they're like 10 years later, you're like, why did I buy this in the first place? Yeah, there are some items I still keep around, like my Halo Reach statue. I still have that, but for the most part, I just looked up in my shelf once and I was like, oh yeah, I bought that Enzio collection way back in the day, and the statue is still pretty sweet, but you know, it's kind of just like there, and we don't really take that mind to it. I'm pretty sure, and a lot of this stuff, I can speak from experience, is pretty cheaply manufactured. Like, rarely do you actually get some quality stuff. Like, for example, the Fallout 3 Special Edition, where you got this pretty sweet lunchbox and a bobblehead, which was really awesome. But nowadays, I feel like collector's editions are not as stable as they used to be. They usually come with some sort of cheap item or some sort of gimmick that really people don't want. But either way, I think this is just a really crappy practice that shouldn't be implemented. If you're paying over $200 for a collector's edition, you should get the damn game. So that's it from me. Tell me what you think in the comments below. And that's me signing out. I put out a lot of videos today. I hope that you weren't overwhelmed or got annoyed. But, you know, there was a lot of news today that I wanted to cover. Either way, thanks for watching. Goodbye.